Hi, it's Kevin from Let Me Tech You, and in this video, I'm going to be going over a tool called Terrascan that can help detect compliance and security violations across your infrastructure as code. Basically, just to help mitigate some of the risks that you could put into your environment, whether it be in the cloud or wherever you're deploying this to. So, Terrascan is open source. If you're looking at this video, you're probably looking for some solution to help, do this in a way to get you more compliant before deploying resources to the cloud. So if you go to runterrascan.io, you can go to their GitHub and see some information around more documentation on how to install this. So if you're using Linux, you can use Brew, which is what I use, or Mac OS. You can use Brew install Terrascan. So that's what I'm using to install it. And you can basically run this against your Terraform, Helm charts, Docker, anything that you're using to build infrastructure as code with. Also, in the documentation, what this basically does is it has a list of different policies based on the cloud provider that you're on. So if I'm using Azure more so than AWS, so if you can go, you'll see some of the different providers over to the right hand side here on the screen to show you what basically um, they have policies set for. So we look at the Azure on virtual network. One of the ones that they require is ensuring that Azure Virtual Network Subnet is configured with a network security group. We got some other ones for, let's say, actual network security rules. So just making sure certain types of ports isn't exposed to the internet. So just a list of those there, but they're very basic. But you can add some of these using the OPA policy framework, which you can actually go to, just Google OPA policy. And if you want to add some custom ones, you can kind of learn the Rego language to do that yourself. So I'm going to use one of my test home lab, bring this over here. So I got a test home lab Terraform file, module that I use to kind of spin me up a little VM inside of a virtual network with a network security group and stuff like that. So if looking at this, basically what I have here is something that I'm gonna, run that Terrascan against. So you could add this to your CI/CD pipeline, but I'm running this locally here. So when you first install Terrascan, you can see I already have mine installed. So you can do a Terrascan init, and basically what that's going to do, it's going to initialize the Terrascan and clones policies from this Terrascan GitHub repository. So that's something you might do when you're every once in a while want to make sure that you're up to date with the latest policies. And so once you get that Terrascan initialized and downloaded, then we can run this against our existing folder here. So I'm already inside of this folder. So I'm just going to do a Terrascan scan. And since I'm in this folder, I don't have to, put any type of flags. But if you needed to know what other flags you wanted to add after that, you can do a, -H there. You can see some of the different ones in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a Terrascan scan, and we're going to see this run. And so basically what this is great because now it's more of a shift left approach. And you might hear the word shift left a lot in the industry where you're moving a lot of your security and different things before the actual deployment of a lot of your resources. So looking at this here, we got this basically some scan errors just saying, hey, error message, no files found in the directory. So no Docker, K8s, Helm charts, any of that stuff. But we found some violations here. So we basically have a resource group that has a lock enabled, or it says ensure that Azure resource group has a lock enabled. So basically what that is, you can put a lock on a resource group to just mitigate it from being deleted unintentionally in the portal or by someone that doesn't have the correct permissions. Here it says ensure that Azure Virtual Network Subnet is configured with a network security group. So it's best to put a network security group on any subnet, even if you're not applying any type of rules. And reasons for that is you can kind of apply like some NSG flow logs and things like that to it to be sent to like a, SIM of your choice or to some type of storage bucket. So I'm going to actually, I commented out some of this because some of this I actually already had in before. So I'm going to take out the network security rule I have, or commented out, and add that back in there. Let's go ahead and save that. So now if I run my Terrascan again, I should remove one of those. So now I got one violation removed and just the one that needs a lock. I'm not going to go add that lock only because in my home lab, I usually don't need the locks. So I just like to delete those when needed. So as you can see here, just a nice way to kind of get you your compliance up to tier to like at least a basic level before you start to deploy resources in your environment. And again, if you want to add some customizations to things like, making sure your policies doesn't requires DDoS protection on all VNets, things like that. That's where you're going to need to come in and do some custom Rego policies that you'll need to learn to do. Or have some type of not open source, but probably paid solution that has a lot of those already baked in. So basically, if you have any questions in regards to how this works or any needs in terms of adding this to a particular CI/CD pipeline, maybe give me a shout down below and I'll be able to maybe assist where I can. Again, like and subscribe to these videos and check out some of the other ones in regards to the Terraforms that I've been deploying. Again, thanks for tuning in and hope to see you next time.